what the coolest thing? That I forgot to say it at the front end. That was the town of Mussomeli, which is in Sicily, where loyalty is set. And you saw me, I don't know if you saw my unboxing video, but check it out because, well, let me take a minute to take you through the front of the book and then get to the map, and then I'll tell you where Mussomeli is. So there's a point to this. Here is the cover, which looks so vivid in real life. I have to tell you, it's just such a, you work on a book and you write it for a year, but you think about it for so much longer. And you see from these videos how much I've been thinking about it and how much, a lot of thought goes into it and a lot of thinking about the themes and the events. And, the funny thing is not all of it makes it to makes it to the book. You have like, you're right on the facts because you researched the facts. But so Laura and I went to Sicily. We went all over. Not every town made it into the book because I didn't need every town. I can't tell you everything I know. That would take 20 videos. But really what I tell you is sort of what's relevant to the plot. And tonight is really apropos of that. So here's the actual book. It's really very beautiful. And also it shows a little lemon. I'm just digging these little lemon things. It's such a fresh, nice thing. And in the book, as we've talked about in previous videos, it's very culinary. There's a lot all about the way you cook and the food in Sicily. And everything is lemon because of the lemon groves as you know from previous videos, where the mafia was born. I think there's also such a great irony in that. Here's a lush, beautiful lemon grove around Palermo. And when you understand the economic system of Sicily, which we've talked about in previous videos, you start to see how the lack of upward mobility sort of made people turn to crime and how the mafia started there, specifically why, to guard the lemons. And so out of this beauty comes this really violence and horror and an injustice that has to be set right. That's basically loyalty. There's the actual title page. They always give you a bunch of title pages, which frankly, I love. But I asked to have some lemon pictures because it was all about lemons. And they found this is other books I've written. And then this great, I have to give my most important part, shout out, the dedication. You might be wondering how authors come up with dedications. And if you're me, it's really simple. I'm a single mother. The most important thing in my life is my daughter. Every single book is dedicated to my daughter, Francesca. I love her. I think about her all the time. I know parents are like that. And I just get to say it on a book. So I say it for all of you who don't get to put your children on books. And she really, really loves it. In fact, I will tell you a quick story. On my very first book, it was called Everywhere That Mary Went, about Mary D'Annunzio. And I dedicated the book to Francesca and to Franca, my best friend. And actually it was to Franca and Francesca, and Kiki, who was only like 6 at the time, said, "Why am I second?" Which is actually a really good question, but we love our best friends. So there is the dedication for my amazing daughter, Francesca, which is with all my love, which is so true. And then this wonderful quote I found by Goethe, the playwright, because as we've talked about in previous videos, this whole idea that Sicily was such a world location and everybody went there and it was part on the high-end tour. And then a lot of people went to see Baron Pisani, who you also know about, and he's in the book, because of his world-renowned sanitarium and his whole new approach to curing mental illness, or at least treating it. Goethe went there and he wrote all about it in a book called Italian Journey. And he had this quote, which was so wonderful, because this is how you pick the quotes for your book. I love the quotes in the book. I love doing that because as you know from this, what inspired me? And what inspires you as a reader? What do you think about that's really not in the story per se, but permeates it? Goethe's quote, "To have seen Italy without seeing Sicily is not to have seen Italy at all, for Sicily is the clue to everything." I love that because I actually experienced that. And I like when you read something, you go, that's just how I feel. And how does he know that? Like, that's really cool. So basically, because I've been to Italy many times, and I sort of thought Sicily was like a smaller version of Italy, which has turned out to be completely wrong for all the stories I've told you, for the history of Sicily and the endless colonization, for its influences from the Greek side, from the African side, all the different languages, all the different foods, everything at a different language. Sicilian is not Italian. It's very different. Now Peach will start barking. I'll have to throw her out. But let me show you the final thing, which I mentioned in the unboxing video. cast of characters, in case you forget, the map. I looked at all these maps of Sicily and I said, these are too detailed and it's too much information. I want to make it simpler, not harder. So what I did, I get an artist, a guy who lives locally and who makes maps. I said, will you make a map and show only these towns? And this is the actual map. It's actually a correct map, but it's a map that's custom made for the book. And where we're talking about today is Mussomeli, which is there. So if you start in Palermo, if you remember, all of our previous conversations have been in Palermo, up north, on the water, and there, right? And then Mussomeli matters in the book because the characters go there. Now, I'm not going to tell you more than that. Oh, by the way, I should say that last time around, Marguerite, one of my genius readers, corrected me. She said, you got the East and West mixed up, which I did. Here is Palermo. I think I had, the bottom line is, I have a little bit of a brain fart about East and West. So I'm not going to go into it, but Palermo is there. And at some point in the novel, everybody goes to Mussomeli. And Mussomeli is in the very mountainous area in the center of Sicily. And it has a really unusual terrain, which you saw in the pictures that I showed. I'm going to, as we talk, you're going to get to see my little crazy doglet who's going to go out and bark the whole time. So I'm going to let her out. Come with me to let Peach out. Where's Peach? Oh, Peach. Oh, great. Peach wants water. No, Peach. Ah, come on out. Go out. Go out. It's only the front. It's the front yard. So I don't think I'm being like animal cruelty time. Out you go, honey. You're going to go out because you can't bark all the way through mommy's last Monday night video. Okay, here we go. How was that? Was that all right? I didn't lose you. Anyway, Mussomeli is in central south of Palermo. That was good. And it is so hilly there. And you saw that in some of the pictures on the video. And also it's really a tough terrain. Here's a close up. You know, it's not lush like Palermo. If you remember, I showed you pictures in the lemon grove and you see like dripping with lemons, these trees, the leaves are green. There's beautiful salty spray. It's like perfume. It's like being in a lemony perfume. It's like lemon pledge. I used to love lemon pledge. It's better than lemon pledge, but it's really, really great. But look at this terrain. It's not the same at all. It's hard scrabble. And you go up and down a lot. I just want to take a second. I want to show you the same pictures. But see this little town of Mussomeli? And I did meet the mayor there because part of it, I wanted to do my research and know the history of Mussomeli, which I read about. But I also learned that they are selling houses there for €1. If you've read about that, it's basically a buck. You know, in a lot of the newspapers, that they kind of made it a thing about that because they're trying to get people to move to Sicily. And here's like, you can see the vintage of these. Now you have to fix up the houses and they take some fixing up. This one is obviously needs repair, but let me tell you, this house was a fixer upper when I first got it. There are worse things and it's cool. If you like history, it's such an interesting door. These streets are so cool, right? Little interesting passageways. I'm going to take you someplace at the end of this lovely little kind of the Virgin, all of these beautiful, quaint, charming religious things. So we've talked in the past about how Sicily is so religious. Here is a church that is in the plaza of Mussomeli. It is actually in the novel. And I'm not going to tell you why or how, but it stood in the 1800s when the novel was set. So I got to take pictures there, go inside, and even go someplace I'd never been, underneath the church. Here's the side, because I wanted you to see how cool and old that stone is. Really, really, you know, really, really old and original. Here's the church inside. Gorgeous, all restored, really beautiful. It is the village church. Mussomeli is a very small town. But if you remember in an earlier episode, we talked about the Beati Paoli, who are the Blessed of Society of St. Paul. And they were aristocratic, lawyers, doctors, all kinds of do-gooders who wanted to fight for justice and fight for the little man and fight for the poor of Sicily because they were not well represented. The law was corrupt. The police were corrupted in the 1800s, and the police represented the nobility. The law represented colonizers, not those who were colonized. So there was an actual real life organization called the Beati Paoli. There's a character in the book who's a member of it, Gaetano. Where do they meet? As we've showed before, they meet under a church. Well, when I went to the church where they actually meet, I could only see a little part of it. And I said, gee, I can't leave Sicily until I have actually explored under a church, because I have to set a scene there. And what's cool is all of these churches tend to be about the same vintage. So they existed all back in the 1800s, and they still exist. Now they have a fresh coat of paint, but this is actually not a church altar. It is under a church altar. And this is where you find that there was a special, they would have a little altar set up there where the priests would meet or nuns would meet. And they have crypts along the wall, burial places, which nuns are buried in. It felt very sacred, but it also felt a little spooky. You go down these stairs and winding stairs like I have in the book. It's cold, it's clammy, it's dark, it's deadly silent, and it's really incredible. It's so medieval kind of feeling, and it hasn't changed much from then. Here is the crypt of an actual nun. This says grave of the Sorelle, the sisters, right? They were buried in the church. And here's the actual stone that's rolled in front of it. So you can't get inside, but this is right underneath the church. Here's the door of another crypt. It was so unbelievable. Here is this. Now, I guess this was a child. No one really could tell me what this was, but I think it is the remains of a baby in the side wall of this church. It is the Madonna of the Miracles is the name of the church. You can visit it today, as I did. But the church officials took me downstairs and let me take these pictures. And I thought, this is exactly where the Beate Poli, their meeting, what it would look like. And you saw in that video too, this is not as great a picture as the one in there, but you get an idea because here's an ancient castle at the very top of a hill, because Mussomeli is so hilly, and you're zigzagging up the hill. So maybe the town, if you went straight, which you still can't do, would be a direct shot. But the grade is so steep that you have to zigzag all the way up it. And you will see, and I have this in the book too, because in those days, so your imagination goes wild. It's like people rode horses up it, and they came up and down it, and there's carts. Nowadays there's cars, but there's also people walking. There's still no way to get to the top of Mussomeli. When we saw it, we're driving there, right? And there's the town. It was an hour to get to the top of the mountain, because it was such a steep grade and really scary, which was really good in the book, because you like imagine riding a horse up it. I mean, I can't even ride a horse on the flat, much less on a grade like that. But it was really, really exciting. And Mussomeli was a wonderful place to write about, and a wonderful setting. Basically, well, I can't give that away, but it's in the novel Loyalty. I'm so proud of it. And let me show you again too. I didn't get to show you the rest of it. Here's the back praise. If you remember, we've read all these wonderful authors who said nice things. I want to take a second to shout them out now, because I'm so grateful to them. All authors are wonderful people, and they're also generous to have read the book, and I'm so glad they enjoyed it. These are people who should be on your reading list: Kristen Hanna, Daniel Silva, Kate Quinn, Nelson DeMille, Kristen Harmel, Stephanie Dre, Meg Wade Clayton, Jennifer Rosner, and Helene Wecker. These are all authors whom I love. I wrote to them. I'm a fan of yours. Would you mind reading my novel and seeing what you think? And so they get the billing on the back. It's really gorgeous. And also, I was such a little control freak that I said, I want the font to look old school, very old, a little bit Italianate. And by the way, I'm so excited about the reviews on Goodreads, and thank you for your wonderful Goodreads reviews. People have put them up there. I read every single one. I read all of the reviews, and I love that, because I learn, well, gee, what are they like? The reviews, I'm happy to say, about Loyalty are wonderful. And I saw one the other day, I thought, she totally got it, because she said all the nice stuff like, this is a saga about family and love and justice, and it's said in Sicily about the rise of the mafia and all the things the book is. But she said, what I really loved about it was that it was written as if of that time. And that was really my trick as an author, and my problem as an author. You can't write a novel about the 1800s and use slang. You can't write a novel about the 1800s and have the informality of conversation, or the locutions we have. Like, we say, yeah, right. No one says that in this book, because no one said that in 1800 Sicily. The locutions, the way people talk, has to be actually Sicilian, and it has to be resonant with the time and underscore it. So even in the stories about Alfredo, who's in this novel, and the shepherd, he talks like a shepherd of the time. I was really, really proud of that. I worked hard on it. So when you read it, I hope it transports you to that world. That's what this woman's review said. She said it really takes her to that, not just that place, which is Sicily, which is kind of great enough, but also to that time, which was about the way I wrote it. And that took a lot of time. But more importantly, it's not me trying to get extra credit for my work. That's so lame. But really more trying to tell you a little bit and open the curtain on what the creative process is like when you write historical fiction. Every historical fiction author, I think, pays attention to these things, and they should. That's what's challenging about this, but that's what makes it so wonderful to read. You want to be scooped up and taken away, you got to tell the story just like that. I was delighted too that one of these copies went to a wonderful independent bookseller, Linda Cass at Gramercy Books in Bexley, Ohio, where I have toured and visited. We'll get to the tour in a minute. If you are in Ohio, anywhere near it, you should get to this amazing bookstore. And you can also buy from them online. They have a thing called Bookgram, where they send you a book a month that they think is really worth reading. And I subscribe. But Linda was so wonderful, and she's even written novels herself, so she knows. But she wrote a wonderful comment about loyalty, and I'll read it to you if you will bear with me. Linda Cass at Gramercy Books said, I speed read the advanced copy of Loyalty, Lisa Scottolini's latest historical drama, in 2 days. That alone makes me so happy, because I think it moves fast. It's not boring, it moves fast. The epic tale of good versus evil is filled with the mouth-watering foods of Italy, the majestic landscape of Sicily, those lush lemon groves, and a cast of wonderful characters who all collide in the end. Linda Cass, thank you so much. And that is the book. It's a little bit of a different construction. There's a few different characters, and you follow their story, and then they all come together in a way you would not foresee, in a big twist. And then it goes on to a surprise ending. I'm very, very proud of this book. I'm very, very grateful to you guys for coming to this. And I just wanted to take a second before I move on and give away our second to the last prize of the giveaways to say, I am going on tour. Okay, maybe that doesn't sound like a big deal to you, but it is to me, and I'll tell you why. I have toured with every one of my books until COVID. I love tour. You know, I'm a people person. I love you guys. I love that you come to this. I love that I can talk to you and see your names. And I've met many of you. I had the book club party at my home pre-COVID. We had 1,000 people at my farm over a weekend. I hugged everybody. I know them. They came book to book. They came for Francesca's book, Goes to Harvard. I love my readers. I'm grateful to you guys. So meeting you is a real thrill. Well, COVID obviously put a damper on that. I wasn't going to endanger anybody or myself. And I've stayed pretty much undercover. But I see that people are coming out a little bit. I feel like I feel safer. We have I think we made some things like please wear a mask. I'm not sure what we'll be doing. I guess you'd have to look on my website to see what the deal is. But I am going out on tour for the first time in 4 years. I haven't been in public on tour for 4 years. I keep saying that. I'm just amazed by it because it's something I used to do once a year, then twice a year. And then when I wrote the funny books with Francesca, 3 times a year. And it was great. Now I am super excited. I'm going to be hitting the road with Laura. We're not going places we can fly yet because we're a little nervous about that, but we're driving everywhere, all over the East Coast. I am going to ask for you to please subscribe to my newsletter. This is it. It only comes like 2 or 3 times a year. Its purpose is to tell you about what's new for me, so you're the first to hear. And it will also have the tour dates. So when people write, where are you going to be? You can answer that question and have it. I actually put my own tour schedule on my refrigerator because I always forget where I'm going to be. Let me take a second to tell you a few of the towns. Some of these events are virtual. They will all be on the website. If you get the newsletter, it will. Debbie Allen, Barnes & Noble, saying we will have masks available also. Thank you. I could not forgive myself if people got sick because they came to my signing. We're going to take precautions. So please do. I will. Okay. There's virtual events. Here's what they look like on the newsletter. They're on the website. If you have the newsletter or the website, you get this idea. I'm going to read a few of the towns. Newtown, Pennsylvania. I'm going locally. Phoenixville, PA, Reed's and Company. I'll read the bookstores too, because they deserve the shout out. Madison, Connecticut. The beautiful RJ Julia. Providence, Rhode Island. Reading with Robin at GAM Theater. Northvale, New Jersey. Books and Greetings. Exton, PA, Barnes and Noble. Thank you, Debbie. Rosemont, PA for Main Point Books. There's a big event at Rosemont College. I'll be on Adriana Inc. You love Adriana Trigiani. I'll be in with her. A book passage event, which is virtual because that's San Francisco. Poison Pen is the leadoff event. That I should have mentioned that first. That's Sunday. That is Sunday, March 26th. And then after it is going to be my Facebook Live. That's how that's working. You'll see all this. Westminster, Maryland, I will be in person for A Likely Story, a terrific independent bookstore. If you're in Maryland area, please come. Another virtual event, another Facebook Live. Long Island, Syosset Public. Oh, I'm not sure if that's on, I don't know if that was on purpose. I mean, I don't know if that's in person or not. Somebody will have to look that up. Facebook Live, Longport, New Jersey. That's in the summertime, July 17th. July 18th in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, for Browse About Books, and I will be signing stock for Bethany Books. That's me. I will be out. This book is coming out March 28th. Next Sunday night, we will be meeting, and I will be giving away the final prize. It's the final countdown. Is that sort of on the note? I don't know. So this, I don't want you to miss. It is next Sunday night. It is the last night before Pub Day. It is our special celebration of the publication of Loyalty, which will be the very next day. There'll be an event for Poison Pen that is virtual. Poison Pen is a really, really one of the best independent bookstores in the whole damn country. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona. My Scottsdale peeps, you know I come there every year. It is just a terrific, terrific bookstore. I'm not going to get out there this year, but I will be there virtually. So next Sunday is our last meeting. I just have to let you go, but to say thank you again. You know, when we started this in October, when are we going to start these things? And maybe November 7th. Maybe some people will come. Surely they'll drop off. We have held a constant number all of these months. Every Monday night, you guys, same time. People are asking same time. What time? I think it's the same time. Let me see if it's the same time. I forget if the Facebook Live is the same time. We will put up Laura, do you happen to know if the time? Text me and tell me, Laura. Tell me what to say, Laura. Tell me what to say. It will be on my website. I will send out a reminder that day. I'm going to pretend for now that it is the same time, but on Sunday night. Let's say that's true, but check it out for sure. But this is me saying thank you so much. It is so kind of you to come to these. Thank you, Trisha. These have been so great. You're fabulous. You guys are so nice to have joined me at this. Laura just texted. Laura! In our house, Kiki and Francesca and I love her so much. We say, Laura. Laura says it is 7:30 next Sunday night. So she has kept me honest once again. Laura and I are so grateful to you for coming, for doing this with us, for enjoying this with us. We get wonderful email from you. I love the comments in Facebook and your wonderful reviews of the story. I cannot thank you enough. I am so grateful to you for reading me, for your loyalty. You know, Loyalty is a book that's about loyalty in all its forms. And I think we know that sometimes loyalty can be bad. Loyalty to, it can have a dark side, but I'm a sunny person. I think of loyalty. I'm loyal to Laura. I'm loyal to my friends. I am loyal to my readers. I think you have proven year after year and book after book that you are loyal to me. And I'm just unbelievably grateful for you. Every day, every night, I think of you. Thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for all of your support and your love. I love you back. And we'll see you next Sunday night, at 7:30 for the very last, whatever this is called, our very last meeting. Love session. It's our love sesh. See you next Sunday. Thank you very, very much again.